Welcome to Young Love, where we answer questions and interpret dreams from our subscriber community. And here's today's question. I'm wondering if you can talk about the issue of place, the ability to settle down somewhere, and how this could relate to a mother complex. And for context, she writes, I've always felt the need to move and can find anything to be unhappy about in my surroundings. Sometimes I wonder if it's related to how I was mothered. My mother could be very distant at times and made me feel strange for wanting her or having opinions or feelings certain ways. She would often make fun of me, and I believe there could be a connection here in that I can't take myself seriously for creating my own life. I desperately want to move back to my hometown, but I wonder if it is just an unconscious longing to get back to my mother, a mother type that I never actually had. I like her self-analysis. She's really done a great job self-reflecting on this.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is what they talk about in AA as a geographic. So they talk about you can't do a geographic cure, they talk about. So we do sometimes have an impulse to move, to change, and that can be a way of externalizing or concretizing an inner dynamic. And so therefore, the taking action in the outer world is unlikely to change anything. Now, I want to say that I think that it's a little more complicated than that, because sometimes moving is the right thing to do. But just in general, that language from AA is a caution against thinking that just changing locations is going to change you.
And I think we assume, she is already aware of that. And one of the paradoxes of being human is that we can't just go inside ourselves and do all our work internally. We have to get out in the world and have experiences in the world, whether, jobs and relationships and places that we live and recreational activities we engage in. The list is on. And then use that as our listener is doing to say, how does this inform me and my inner world? What is the meaning that I make of it? I will say I have had some number of people in my personal life and as clients that have had this exact issue. And it really goes to the issue of home. The hope is that we find the home inside us, of that place where there's a wholeness, a collection, a connection between our physical selves, our emotions, our thinking and feeling, and so on. And if there has been a difficult relationship with the mother who first provides that home, she is our first home, holding us, carrying us around, feeding us, singing to us. It can be hard to find a sense of home in adulthood, and it can get concretized as a search for, maybe I should live in the country. No, maybe I should live in a city. Maybe I should live here. Maybe I should have a different kind of house. So I think I would want to circle around that more than the question of, should this person move back to his or her hometown? Build it out a little bit more. It's a much bigger conversation with herself or himself.
That's beautifully said, Deb. Yeah.
One of the things that I'll say is I've seen people move back to their hometown, and in fact, it was very growth promoting in that it allowed a confrontation with reality of what was or wasn't there. So it might be that you move back and you're both nourished by connections, either with people or with places or memories that were there in the early years, and or you also see that things are not actually as you remembered them to be. And that sort of confrontation with the reality of it can be kind of help you reorient. If we have an impulse to do something and it doesn't seem very rational, I think it's important to kind of sit with it and be curious about it and wonder, where is this coming from? Where is this impulse coming from? Is it welling up from deep within the self? And therefore it's something that I need to follow, even though it doesn't make sense? Or is it coming from kind of trying to compensate for something? Or is it kind of a concretization of something that needs to be dealt with on an inner level? We don't know that right away when with an impulse comes up. So what I do when something like that happens is I hold it for a while and I just try to sit with it and see what happens and see if it changes, see if it shifts, see if it keeps coming back. I've talked about on the podcast before, I went back, I'm getting a doctorate. I had an impulse to get a doctorate and I was like, well, that is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I pushed it aside, but I kind of left some space around it. What I found was that it just kept on coming back. I'm getting this doctorate. I'm loving it. It's great. I'm so glad I did this. I don't know that I would have had the language to say why it felt important to do it, but I did. But I held it for a while before I acted on it. So that's maybe another way to think about it.
Where I go with what you've just said, Lisa, is try it. If it goes away, or it doesn't go away, it keeps coming back. You can try it. She could go to her hometown for a week, for a long weekend. I don't know how great the geographic distance is, but at least oftentimes we can try something, and if it's not right, then we know for sure that it represents more of an internal issue than an optimum fit in the external world.
That's a great idea.
One frame I'd also like to offer is, I think people can fall into two very broad categories: those who consume experiences and those who generate experiences.
Ooh, interesting.
So I think that if we just find ourselves, and this is blameless, it's like a typology. If we find ourselves in the consuming experiences, these are people who just love to travel. Like, traveling is the most wonderful thing they could imagine. And they want to consume the novelty of all kinds of wonderful experiences, and it truly enriches them. Some people have a temperament where you can drop them off anywhere, and within a couple of months, they've founded an organization, they've made a bunch of friends, they've integrated into the community, they're throwing parties, and they're creating experiences for themselves or making things happen. So I think what I'm hearing, it's a big jump, that this is a person who likes to consume experiences. She goes to a place, she tastes the experiences that it has to offer. Then there's something inside that says, but I'm not getting a certain flavor. I'm not getting fed in a way that I think I still need. And so the search kind of goes on. Now, I wouldn't say this in general, but relative to the dream, is it possible that this person's hunger to consume experiences is related to being fed by the mother?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. That's an interesting lens. And so if we're looking for that mother milk or the experience of that from the surrounding environment, yes, that fantasy that the environment will mother me in a way that I was not as a child, that would be a powerful thing to confront. If that is the place that we find ourselves, we won't be free until you realize that you are the mother you've been waiting for, that your mothering needs can be supplied by your conscious self, by taking on self-mothering behaviors that would benefit you and that would gratify you.
Yeah.
And that goes with you anywhere you go.
That's really wonderful that you have the power. It is within us. That's really optimistic. I like it a lot.